Pas de soleil, pas de soleil, pas de soleil, la-la-la. Pas de soleil, pas de soleil, pas de soleil, la-la-la.
Hi guys! Thank you all for tuning in and welcome back to Sewing Clara. Today it's gonna be the final video in my short series about how I make sectioned shirts. The sewing pattern is available on my homepage and this is the version that we're gonna make today. So today the sleeves are going to have cuffs, and again I went for my right now favorite color combo, but as always you can of course use any colors and patterns that you like. So let's jump right into this. The sewing pattern we are going to use today is again my sewing pattern for basic section shirts. I made a few updates so that also today's version would be included in the sewing pattern overview. I will link the sewing pattern down below in the video description. And today we'll be making a long sleeved version with cuffs. So here are the sewing pattern adjustments we have to make. First we will grab the pattern piece for the short sleeves and we will align it with the bottom part for the long sleeves according to these lines. So we will basically take away the seam allowance here on the top and here on the bottom, and these lines will be perfectly aligned in order to get a pattern piece for a whole long sleeve. And then the next adjustment is to fold the bottom according to these marks. And the next thing is today we'll be using the pattern piece for cuffs. As always, let's have a look at the pieces for our today's sewing project first. Over here on the left we have the top back part and the bottom back part. The top front part, the bottom front part. On the right it's the sleeves and the cuff, and here we have the strip that I'm gonna use in order to edge the neckline. Now the optional pieces, I have here the exact copy of the front top part. I'm gonna use it for lining because I like having the front double, but that's optional, especially if you're wearing a bra underneath your tops, you don't need that. But I'm not wearing bras, so that's why. And here I have an iron-on crest, again something that's optional. I'm gonna put it on the top front part. First I will position my iron-on crest. This is a place that looks good to me. It's also from experience. I have here this sports bra and that's pretty much the position, what looks good to me personally. I will pin it in place and then I will go to my iron and I will press it on. I will also sew around the edges so that it will be more secure. Here is what the top front part looks like. So the crest is now ironed on and I have also sewn it in place. Now I will grab the bottom front part and also the lining for the front part. First I will fold each piece in half and I'll make in the center a little cut because that will help me to align everything perfectly. Now I will pin the pieces together. So first I will place the bottom part with the right side facing up on the table, and then I will put over it the top front part and I will pin it in place. Now the right side is on the bottom and the wrong side is facing up. And if you're working with just one layer for the top front part, that's gonna be it. If you, like me, like having this layer double, then you need to take the lining. And the way you place it on the table is so that the right side is going to face up. So the right side will be aligned with the wrong side of the bottom part and I will pin it in place. But again, this is optional. And here's what it looks like. Now I'm gonna go to my sewing machine and I will be sewing these pieces together with stretchy overlock stitch. A little reminder, this is what it looks like. here is what it looks like when the pieces are sewn together. Now I'm gonna fold the lining upwards and also the front part. And here's what it looks like from the right side and from the wrong side. I personally like smoothing everything nicely, and actually I do it rather from the wrong side, and I like placing in a few pins around the edges once the both layers were smoothened, because I find it easier then to align it with the back part. We're gonna put this piece to the side for the time being, and we will pin together the back bottom part with the back top part. I can also go ahead and pin the sides of the sleeves together. And after I pinned the sleeves together, I will grab both cuffs and I will pin together the short sides like so. I also made a little cut in the center of the short side because that's where I will be folding the cuffs. So it's a practical mark for myself. And now I can go ahead to my sewing machine and sew everything together with the stretchy overlock stitch. And now I can go ahead and cut back everywhere the excess fabric. When you finish sewing together the sleeves, I recommend putting them on and seeing whether you need to take them in or not. I already know that I always take my sleeves in here a little bit, so that's why I have sewn further from the edge. So, and now I'll cut back the excess fabric too. While I have the sleeves here, I can continue working on them, so I will grab the cuffs and fold them in the middle. And I will place each cuff inside of the sleeves, and I will pin them in place from the inside, and I will make sure that the seam is folded to a different side than the seam on the sleeve, because otherwise there would be too much fabric aligned. So I'm going to turn my work over like so, and I'll start pinning them at an angle, and I will make sure that all edges are nicely aligned. Here is what it looks like once the cuffs have been pinned in place. I will sew them in with stretchy overlock stitch. Now let's return to the main parts of the shirt. So I have here now this seam on the back part. I can fold the seam either downwards or upwards. That doesn't matter, it's always up to you. I will pin it in place on several places, and then I will go ahead and I will sew through the seam with my cover stitch machine. If you don't have a cover lock, you can simply sew through the edge with stretchy zigzag. This is what stretchy zigzag looks like. It allows the fabric to stretch out. And this is what I'm gonna use, that's cover stitch, so it's 2 rows of straight stitch from one side, and this is on the wrong side. So whatever works for you or whatever machine you have, you can use either of these. So here is what it looks like. I folded it upwards and I went through with the cover stitch, and now I can align the front part with the back part. So first I will pin the sides together. And now we will also pin the shoulders together. So if you are working with just one layer for the front part, all you have to do is to pin the front part and the back part around the shoulder area. But we're gonna do something different because we want to hide the seam. And for that, I will grab this part of the lining and I will twist it once to the left. Then I will place it here at the edge, pin it in place like so. And once that will be sewn in place, it will nicely hide the shoulder seam. So basically, it's twisted like so. Let me show you again on the other side. So I will twist the lining outwards like so. And this edge needs to be aligned with this edge. So once I twisted it, the edge is here on the left side. I have to turn it once more over like so. And I'll pin it in place. And once it will be done, I will simply turn it over like so. Alright, so now that everything is prepared, we can go to the sewing machine and sew all the edges together with stretchy overlock stitch. Time to cut back the excess fabric. I will leave the top turned to the wrong side, but I will turn the sleeves to the right side. So here's what the cuffs look like on the bottom. And now I can start pinning the sleeves in place. As always, I made a little mark on the front part of the sleeve so that I would know to which side they belong. So I'm gonna put the sleeve in and I'll start pinning it in place. Here is what it looks like when the sleeves are pinned in place. I will also grab the bottom and I will fold it like so, the sides aligned. I will put a pin here where the seam is and I will look at the edge and see if I like the line. I think I could cut this a little bit back so that I would have a neater line. So that's what I'm gonna do. It's just a little bit, but it's gonna make a difference. Here is what our top looks like so far. So here we have the cuffs. The sleeves are sewn in place and I cut back the excess fabric and I have also already folded the edge of the bottom inwards so that I can sew through the edge later. I will do it with cover stitch, but you can do it with stretchy zigzag. And now I started pinning this strip of camo fabric to the edge of the neckline. So I'm gonna be pinning it at an angle and I always stretch the strip very lightly out because that's gonna make the edge much firmer so that it wouldn't be stretching out while sewing in. You can also go ahead and iron around the edge, the edging iron on interfacing. That will always make the edge sturdier so that it wouldn't be stretching out. But this method works great for me. I don't need any additional material, so that's why I like doing it this way. I came to the end of the neckline, so here I will remove the pins for the time being and I will align the ends of the strip like so. I'll pin it in place. I will sew through the edge with straight stitch first and then I'll fold the seams to both sides and I will pin it back in place around the neckline. And I will be sewing the strip of camo jersey in with stretchy overlock stitch. Here is what it looks like once the strip has been sewn in place. I will cut back everywhere the loose threads and I also cleaned the edge a little bit, so I cut around it. And now I will pin it in place. You can pin it like so or at an angle. and there are a few options how to finish up. You can sew around the edge with stretchy straight stitch, or you can do it with stretchy zigzag. I will use my cover lock, so I'll go through the edge with cover stitch. So that is it. That's how I made this version. I really love the cuffs. I find that they give the whole shirt a nice touch, and I think I'm gonna change because I feel like I want to wear this one right now. So anyway, I hope that you guys enjoyed this short series. If there is anything else you would want me to cover when it comes to sewing, you can let me know in the comments and I'll see if it's something I could do. Thank you all so much for watching. Don't forget to check out the sewing pattern. It's available on my homepage. And also please subscribe to my channel for more sewing fun. Thank you all so much for watching. I appreciate you guys very much. God bless you and see you soon with my next project. Bye.